Really, Tremors is the franchise that just keeps on giving. What should have fallen into rather pedestrian movies still keep being quite interesting. In this one, we get Tremors 4, The Legend Begins, and this is a prequel movie set in 1889 as we follow Hiram Gummer, played again by Michael Gross, in the Old West. And it's just a shake-up of everything while still keeping familiar beats and things from the series that we know. Chang's market is still there. We have help run by his ancestors. We get Hiram Gummer, who is a rather pampered man who doesn't like guns, who can't really cope with the Wild West. He's a more civilised person, a little bit of a lazy user as well, and he has a mine in Rejection, which is the old name for perfection. And unfortunately, all the miners were mysteriously vanishing, and nobody will go to this ground to mine anymore, and he needs his income. So he goes there to fix it, and then we meet a group of fantastic characters in amongst the town of Rejection, and I really liked a lot of the characters and the people we meet are really interesting, really fun and endearing. This is a running thread through a lot of the Tremors movies, that you really find these characters wonderful. And I think that's adding a lot of heart to the movie as well. Very rarely is there despicable characters that you really don't like within the films. And this one gives a whole new aesthetic to the look, as we have this town of perfection, kind of, which is a little bit more condensed but still has the makeshift elements of that town. We get all the kind of ancestral of our characters that we know and really like as well, and we get some really nice fun situations. They get the inclusion of Billy Drago as Black Hand Kelly in this one, a gunslinger who they hire to help take out these Graboid monsters that they are struggling with in this one. And we get some terrific sequences, particularly at the start of this. There is, or midway through, there is a moment where they're trapped within a building and they can't get out, and the Graboids, being as smart as they are, start to realise that it's only planks of wood that are stopping them from getting to their food. So they start to systematically break away the planks of wood, and it just adds a great deal of tension. And I like the idea of Hiram Gummer being not that gun-slinging character that we've known in the other ones, who is someone who is kind of pampered in this new world and struggling to deal with the Wild West, but he has to learn pretty quickly, becoming very much fascinated by weaponry throughout the movie, as you're kind of expecting to happen, because you know that he's got to become the hero at some point, but they really do leave it quite late. There's relationships between characters that are forming that are really interesting and fun and well staged, and I'm just amazed by the level of the script in these movies. You know, they are fun. They carry this through line of really great characters that you like, by having ancestral characters in this one. It never really feels like a cheap follow-up either. The production values are pretty good. The Graboids are mostly practical in this one, and they are all the better for it. There's none of the other subsequent cycles of Graboid characters, you know, like the Shriekers and things like that. We don't get that in this movie. It's stripped back and much more just Graboids that are causing chaos here. There's a bigger threat as well, because they don't have the modern day facilities that our characters did in the first three to really escape or evade these things, and they have to be a little bit more workmanlike to try and beat these things, and I kind of appreciated that. Of course, you get a rousing finale as well. Tremors 4, incredibly fun. A really nice idea of a fourth entry in the movie. You know, going back to the Wild West added a lot to the film. I liked the kind of change in the Burt Gummer character, even though you can kind of tell what's going to come with that. It doesn't rob of any enjoyment that you're having while watching it. Tremors 4 was another great one. I really liked it as well. I'm really happy going back to check out 2 to 4 again. It's been a while, and I suggest checking them out as well. If you liked the first one, if you're a huge fan of Tremors, don't be afraid of the sequels. Delve into them. They're actually quite fun. I'd love to know your thoughts on Tremors 4, The Legend Begins. Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.